This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello, it's Tuesday, November 16th. I'm Rich Pope here with Scott Maxwell and Ryan Gillespie, and today we're going to talk about COVID-19 in Orange County, things going in the right direction. Also, we're going to talk about sports betting here in Florida. It seems like it's heating up and everyone trying to get a piece of the pie. We'll dig into that as well, but we're going to start here with Ryan. So, Ryan, some good news coming from Orange County on COVID-19 as far as the recommendations from the CDC. What's going on?
Yeah, Rich, the CDC has this like 4-color scale that how it judges transmission of COVID-19 in counties, and it's low, moderate, substantial, and high. Orange County moved down to one of the 2 lower levels, down from substantial to moderate transmission, and that measures basically the number of infections you have per 100,000 residents in your county, as well as the positivity rate. And Orange County is well within those thresholds. And so a week ahead of Thanksgiving, we are down to moderate transmission. And that comes with some good news, too, for people who don't want to wear masks.
Yeah, tell us about that. It seems like at this point, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear it.
Right. That's kind of the hallmark of this level of transmission that Orange County is now at. Basically, the CDC says that if you are vaccinated, they no longer advise the wearing of masks indoors. You can still do so if you're more comfortable, and certainly that's acceptable. But for vaccinated people, basically the CDC isn't going to put up any sort of recommendation for you to wear masks. However, unvaccinated people, even if we get to the low level of transmission, will be recommended by the CDC to just still wear masks inside.
That's good news. As far as Orange County, first county in Metro Orlando to get this designation, how do the other counties around seem to be faring at this point?
Before I answer that question, I want to kind of spell out what it means to be moderate transmission. You basically need to have between 10 and 50 cases of COVID-19 per 100,000 residents and a positivity rate below 8%. So all of the counties in our region are well below 8%. The highest positivity rate we have is Lake County at 3.67. So they're pretty comfortably meet that threshold. However, the number of infections is still elevated. It needs to be below 50. Seminole's at 62.5. Osceola's at 70. Lake's at 63.5. So there's still a little bit of work to do there, but compared to where we were and what we were talking about 3 months ago, I think everybody would take this.
Yeah, tell me about as far as the county buildings. Orange County had mask mandates. Jerry Demings put that in place that people that work in Orange County buildings had to wear a mask. Is that going to still be in place at this point?
So when we spoke last month about the state of emergency for the general public, the one thing when Jerry Demings let that lapse that he kept in place was a requirement for county employees to wear masks indoors at work. That no longer is in place. That's basically because of the CDC recommendations. He was just going to wait for that to happen. He sent an email out to the county workforce last night saying, employees who want to wear a mask can certainly still do so. We encourage you to do so, but I'm going to be lifting all requirements on that. So that's a bit of good news for the county workforce as well. I know that's kind of been a contentious issue for some over there.
Yeah, great news. I think welcome news for everyone right now. Appreciate that. You can go to orlandosentinel.com and read more on COVID-19 in the region. But we're going to move forward here with Scott Maxwell. And Scott, you're talking about sports betting here in Florida. And I have to say, anyone that's been watching this, it's like watching an episode of Game of Thrones unfold as far as everyone trying to get a piece of the pie. And there's some major players right now that are really trying to position themselves to get a hold of this. What's going on?
Well, the players on Games of Thrones are a lot better looking than the people I write about in Tallahassee. But yes, there is some similarities here. And I think it's probably confusing to the average reader or viewer or Floridian because these groups use names that really are sort of misleading. The bottom line is that Florida has never had sports betting legalized for all of its existence. That made us abnormal. 32 states in the country have legalized sports betting. So finally, the legislature and governor decided to legalize it, but they did it in kind of an unusual way. What they did was when they were ratifying the Seminole Tribes Compact, they granted the tribe exclusive rights, not just to do sports betting on their property, which I think is what some people might have sort of expected. Like they already have casinos, you can have a sports book in there. Instead, they gave the tribe the exclusive right to do sports betting throughout the state of Florida, and not surprisingly, some other folks went in on the action.
Yeah, let's talk about those. These are big players. FanDuel, DraftKings, they seem to be lobbying to get the Florida Constitution changed as far as the laws that are being pushed for that one.
That's right. So right now, FanDuel and DraftKings are running a petition drive, hoping Floridians will put on the ballot so they can vote next year to open up the market to competition. Frankly, I think they've got a decent argument. I don't think monopolies are good in most anything, but they do not think that most Floridians will agree with them just because of economic or consumer principles. So they have decided to call themselves, let me make sure I've got this right, the Florida Education Champions. Now, I went and checked Florida Education Champions finances yesterday. Of the $32 million that have been donated to Florida Education Champions, 99.999% have actually come from FanDuel and DraftKings. That's the actual number. There was a total of $250 from other people who might actually care about education. They are claiming that if they're allowed to bet and run sports betting operations, the money will go to schools, and it may. But I think anybody who's lived here longer than about a year is also familiar with the Florida Education Lottery. And we've seen these things before where the legislators just end up playing shell games. So anyway, you've got them, FanDuel and DraftKings, running ads that basically ask people to change the petition to allow more competition, but they're not the only ones running ads.
What I find interesting that your column points out is that Disney's in on this, and they're a complete 180 on their stance on gambling here in the state. Does this surprise you?
Yo, I think it's a big surprise. Yeah. So first, the other group running ads is the Tribe, and they're running something called Standing Up for Florida. And that's because if they ran an ad that really said what they want, help us keep a monopoly on sports betting, that's probably not going to be too persuasive. So they're running ads that warn of out-of-state interests coming in. But the third party, as you just mentioned, is Disney. And this is fascinating. Disney has always claimed to be opposed to gambling of any kind. In fact, Disney, as you may remember, bankrolled one of the constitutional amendments to try to limit casino gambling in the state a while back. And in fact, just 2 years ago, former Disney CEO Bob Iger said there's no way our company's getting into gambling. They viewed it, sort of contrary to their family-friendly brand. They are, in fact, the only major cruise line that doesn't have casinos on board. But Disney has watched states like Florida that are opening up the market to sports betting. Also, Disney is a parent company of ESPN, and sports betting go hand in hand, as my friend Ryan knows and is a fan of, I believe. So Disney has all of a sudden done a complete 180, and just last week in their earnings call, the new CEO, Bob Chapek, not only said they would be looking to get into the sports betting market, but they would be looking to do so aggressively. They are not actively playing right now in the Florida campaign that's going on, but they're definitely on the sidelines and always one of the biggest political forces in Florida.
Let me ask something. Last week we talked about medical marijuana and how Florida dealt with that and it not feeling like a free market. Is this along the same lines, or is this a completely different animal in itself?
No, I think that's a very good point, Rich. What we have is whenever sort of these new things are legalized, the politicians in Tallahassee sort of claim they want to do it to keep the market restricted so they can keep control over it. But what they often end up doing is granting these monopolies or near monopolies to one company or another. And I think they have a tough sort of logical or altruistic argument for what they did with the Tribe. If they just said to the Tribe, you know what, the white colonists have hosed you folks over forever. You get to do whatever you want on your property. That'd be one thing. But they took it a step further. The Tribe asked them to let them run sports betting statewide. And then the Tribe gave them $600,000 to the Republican Party of Florida right after they did this. So I don't think there's a real honest argument about why this is good for consumers.
Yeah, I actually saw that you can already gamble here in Florida. Is that correct?
And when you say you do mean you. I tried.
Yeah.
Yes. It was purely for research. And I should say I lost my first
I got
bet. But yes,
$40,
the Tribe.
$40 on first touchdown last night. George Kittle.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So the Tribe has they've got it's their Hard Rock app, and I should say I think the Hard Rock property, it's a great brand. It's first rate. But my personal like for the brand runs counter to my belief that competition is generally a good idea. But yes, you can go ahead. And in fact, right now they're we'll give them some free advertising. They have a promotion. Your first $100 are free if you lose your first bet, as did this guy.
All right. Well, good stuff there. You can read Scott's column on OrlandoSentinel.com shortly. Go ahead and check out that. But for us, we're going to call it quits. Appreciate you being with us. Want to point out, please become a subscriber. Go to OrlandoSentinel.com/subscribe and support our work. A lot of good work from our colleagues there. But we're going to call it quits for today. Until next time, I'm Rich, Scott, and Ryan. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you soon.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on OrlandoSentinel.com.